All right, we're recording.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second ABCW Book Buzz. I'm Caitlin Rubenstein, and I am here with my fellow colleagues who will introduce themselves as we continue through this presentation. And we're here to talk about our starter reviews. It's a very exciting edition, and we're happy to, end this wild year with some great news for all of you. So I'm going to start it off from Workman Publishing, which includes Erewhon, Workman, Duo Press, and Algonquin Young Readers for our stars this year. First up, I'm going to go from youngest and age up with our readers. We have 1, 2, 3 Dim Sum, which is an adorable Mandarin English counting book. This comes from Duo Press, and they have a lot of great books for early readers. And School Library Journal appropriately calls this one a delectable offering. So if you're looking for something sweet and adorable that is different for your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, this is a really wonderful addition to your shelves. So be sure to check it out. Up next, this one publishes in December. I'm so excited about this book. It received its first starter review very recently from Kirkus, saying readers will feel pride and admiration for the resilience and achievements of Black people. And I hope that it is just the first of a few stars to come. It's just a really gorgeous book. It's written by Rio Cortez, and it's written in a poetic way. And you can see I've added some spreads here for you all to visualize it. And there's one page here that's clearly not, a normal spread for a picture book. And that's because it's the back matter in the book. And it includes so much wonderful information. It's just one of the spreads of the back matter. And it's something I really want to call out because it doesn't just give you one letter for one word in Black culture and history, but it gives you multiple words and multiple icons and entrepreneurs, scientists, events, and that I think is what makes this book just so special. So be sure to put this one on your list. Next, we have Who Got Game? This is a series that Newbery Honor winning author Derek Barnes has created, and this one covers baseball. We'll have basketball out in 2021, and this one received 2 starter reviews from School Library Journal and also from Booklist. It covers so many great little known facts about America's favorite pastime, and School Library Journal says readers will be sucked into this unique collection. I love this one because when I was out on the road back in the good old days and we were out in person talking to all of you, I would shout out a question and see if any of you librarians could answer it, and not one of you could. So this has truly little known facts, and I think that's what makes this one so special. This book is irresistible, says Booklist. It is the Screaming Hairy Armadillo, which is so much fun to say every single time. It never gets old. This is really fun, interesting animals, how they got their names and why they are named the way that they are. There's everything from the Screaming Hairy Armadillo to a Sparkle Muffin Spider. It's really fun, and at the end there's actually a great name generator, so kids can come up with their own fun names for animals as well. One of my absolute favorite books of the year is Skunk and Badger by Amy Timberlake and John Klassen. Amy is a Newbery Honor winning author, and John, of course, is a Caldecott medalist. And we have just an adorable odd couple story. It's received 3 starter reviews from Kirkus, Booklist, and Publishers Weekly. There's beautiful spot illustrations throughout from John. Kirkus calls it exceptionally sweet. And what I really love about that review too is that they call out a lot of the sentiments that are in the book as well. Things like being left out, homelessness. There's a lot of really big underlying themes in this book that, educators and librarians, you can really call attention to for your patrons and your students. So, and it's a PW Box Book of the Year. Yay! So that's really exciting, and we hope to have more good news for this book in the future. Oh, In the Role of Bree Hutchins by Nicole Mellowby. If you know me, which I'm sure many of you do by now, you know I'm a huge Nicole Mellowby fan, and this is her second book with us. Her first was Hurricane Season, and we'll have a third out with her in 2021, so keep your eyes peeled. But this one has received 2 starred reviews, one from Kirkus and one from PW. Kirkus says this funny, tender, and heart-wrenching story will have readers calling for an encore. And her next book in 2021 is not a sequel to this one, but it is just as fantastic. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that one. But it's so wonderful. And my favorite thing about Nicole Melleby is that she writes with such heart, but also with such authenticity. So, you know, she's just so genuine, and that comes forth in her writing and her characters. Oh, a middle grade fun favorite is the cozy mystery series for middle grade readers, Premeditated Myrtle, which is part of the Myrtle Hardcastle mystery. And if you're listening, I'm having a hard time saying it. I think it's such a fun tongue twister, and it's just really an adorable series, and every single book in the series will have some punny way of harkening back to mysteries of the past as well. This one received 2 starred reviews from Booklist and Bookpage, and Bookpage says it's a book young readers will love and adults may well sneak out of backpacks and off of nightstands, which I think is saying something. So if you love Harriet the Spy, if you love mysteries, if you love just one really spunky girl who cannot quit at learning what's going on behind the scenes, you're gonna love Myrtle. Oh, Tigers Not Daughters. This is absolutely outstanding YA title, and you don't have to listen to me because it's received 6 starred reviews. So I think that definitely speaks volumes. Kirkus says the evocative language and deft characterization will haunt and empower readers, and haunt is spot on. This book is beautifully, beautifully written. There's tons of magical realism. Samantha Mabry is just a pro at that, and this story follows 4 sisters, one of which who dies within the first page. I'm spoiling nothing, but it's just a wild ride, and it's one of those books where you're reading it and you're like, oh, I know there's going to be a twist. I know there's going to be a twist. And you get to the twist, you're like, I know the twist. You don't know the twist. Trust me. It's so good, and it's really just one to be read again and again. Talk about reading again and again. We have Furia by Shamile Saeed Mendez, and this was a Reese Witherspoon and Hello Sunshine Book Club YA pick, which was very exciting, but it also received 2 starred reviews, one from Kirkus and one from PW. This follows a girl who is really coming of age and coming into her own and learning, you know, how to be herself in the world that she's in, which can sometimes be, you know, really controlled by her family and the expectations that they have of her, even though she is determined to set her own path. So definitely take a look at Furia. It is amazing. Body Talk by Kelly Jensen. This is the 3rd in her YA anthology series. The first one was Here We Are, which is feminist voices. The second was Don't Call Me Crazy, a conversation on mental health awareness. And now we have Body Talk, which brings things about the body in all shapes and ways. It's not just about the size and form of your body, but also how you feel in your body. It covers mental health, it covers gender identity, really inclusive, wonderful story and collection. So be sure to check this one out. This got a School Library Journal starred review. Foreshadow, this is from YA veterans Nova Ren Suma and Emily XR Pan. This is brand new YA voices. There are 13 original stories from brand new debut writers that are introduced by the pros, as we think. You know, Melissa Albert, you have Nicola Yoon, Lori Halse Anderson, just to name a few. And of course, Nova and Emily are in this giving advice to young aspiring writers and in their interspersed craft pieces throughout the book. Last but not least, we have Scapegracers. This is a science fiction fantasy novel from Erewhon, our SFF imprint, and this follows Sideways, and this is a queer witch coven high school story, and if none of that is interesting to you, you should read it just because it's an excellent book, but I think everyone will find something within that short themed sentence that will appeal to them, whether you're looking for high school coming of age, queer titles, or something really fun and spooky for your fall and winter season. So definitely take a look at Scapegracers. It has a Kirkus and PW starred review. that's it for me. These are all the places that you can find me, as well as in this buzz and our wonderful buzzes and newsletters coming up. And I am passing it over to my other friend, Caitlin at Chronicle.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin. I'm here with Andy. I think Andy's going to start us out here.
We're going to talk about our starred reviews from 2020 and kick it off with a picture book, The Bear and the Moon. Oh, Caitlin, I think you're still in control. Right, so Bear and the Moon by Katya Chen and Matthew Burgess is a gorgeous picture book that at its surface is a story about a young bear and his unexpected, much too short friendship with a bright red balloon, but at its heart provides the wisdom and soothing balm of self-forgiveness and healing after loss. This book has received 3 starred reviews. Publishers Weekly says Burgess and Chen add savor to a simple story with visceral writing and elemental artwork. Chen creates each spread with a sense of freshness. Burgess writes with nimble emotionality. Together, the creators deliver an essential message of self-acceptance. We just included a couple of spreads to show you the stunning artwork that Katya has done for this story. And next we have Woodland Dreams by Karen Jameson and Mark Boudavant. In Woodland Dreams, readers say goodnight to beloved forest animals with a young girl and her dog. Each creature is tucked into their respective nest or den with a sweet lullaby. This has received a starred review from Kirkus. As Jameson displays a rare gift for harmonious language and rhyme, sweet fare for bed or nap times with a light frosting of natural history. And then Butterflies Belong Here by Deborah Hopkinson and Milo So. In this moving story of community conservation, a girl finds a home in a new place and a way to help other small travelers. It's about the real change children can make, in this case, focusing on beautiful monarch butterflies. It has received a starred review from Booklist. It says thoughtful, colorful, detailed. This beautiful picture book unites fiction with facts while quietly promoting environmental activism. And our next stunning picture book by 2-time Caldecott medalist Sophie Blackall, If You Come to Earth. It's a glorious guide to our home planet and a call for us to take care of both Earth and of each other. It has received 3 starred reviews. Publishers Weekly says it's exquisite, magnificent, dazzling. If You Come to Earth is a book that can be shared with strangers, visitors, friends old and new, a work in which differences build to reveal an inclusive human family on a single precious planet. A few of the spreads are included. They really capture what the Hornbook said. The true delight of If You Come to Earth lies in its stunning illustrations. Each page features a dynamic, energetic composition, a wealth of precise detail arranged in unexpected ways. Sweet, funny, moving, timely, and beautiful. The last one I'm going to share, on a funny note, is On Account of the Gum by Adam Rex. How do you get gum out of your hair? A pair of scissors? Butter? The cat? Call your aunt, she'll know what to do. She doesn't? Try the fire department. With each page turn, this situation, relatable to any family, grows stickier and more desperate. This book has garnered 2 starred reviews, and Booklist says Rex's work is always humorous, smart, and delightfully absurd, and this is no exception. The hand-painted text has beautiful artistry to it, but it's also a tongue-tangling, deliciously metered, rhyming, absurdist story that begs to be read aloud in classrooms, libraries, and homes. Brilliantly detailed, the child's expressions are masterpieces in and of themselves. Rex is king of the picture books. Consider this required reading.
Okay, so next we have There Must Be More Than That. This is from the creator of The Boring Book. This is just a really fun one, very perfect for our times right now. It's all about perspective and wading through the past and the bad to embrace the possibility of the good. Starred review came in from Kirkus. They say, a child who doesn't like her choices discovers the revolutionary promise of thinking outside the box. Yoshitaka creates a vivacious cast using dots, tiny dashes, subtle body angles, and expressive gestures to great effect. So we love this one in the illustrations. Her time with the grandma is very cute. It's kind of funny to see the grandma, you know, helping her through the times. Don't worry, it's easier said than done. So next we have The Way Past Winter. So this is the favorite and arguably most alarming way of describing this book is Frozen meets Game of Thrones, but middle grade friendly. It's really just a classic adventure story in the vein of Philip Pullman, Anne Erso, Kelly Barnhill. A few star reviews came in for this one as well. So Kirkus just says, Hargrave effortlessly sweeps the reader along with her protagonist, bravery in all its forms, proven valuable to the quest, and the notion of myth made reality adds a sheen of magic to the narrative. So next we have a few spring summer ones that we still wanted to highlight. So My Friend Earth is just a beautiful book that's literally been in the making at Chronicle for more than 10 years. It's just a perfect Earth Day book, but also kind of goes into, it's just beautiful. I wish I could physically show it to you because the cuts and the flaps are starting to go through. The starred reviews say so. I think the die cuts, flaps, and curved page contours yield surprises, and McLaughlin's language is evocative, a gift to the ear. It's from School Library Journal. Here, I think here's one illustration in here. Show more. So next we have Unstoppable by Adam Rex and Laura Park. So this is by the hilarious Adam Rex. It's a very humorous book, but that's still important for our current times. It really kind of goes into, or what makes the book so great is that it's silly and a fun read aloud, but also tackles activism about, let's see, Publishers Weekly calls it an adorably goofy graphic aesthetic, not only funny and beautiful to look at, but with a clean, bold design and exuberant typography. It also hints at collaboration's role in affecting change. Here's just one hilarious show of all the words coming together, crab, turtle, bird. So next we have On Wings of Words. So this delves into the life of Emily Dickinson and introduces young readers to her work with a wonderful addition of some beautiful illustrations. Publishers Weekly says, lines from Dickinson's poems punctuates Burns' text, reflecting themes of nature, wonder, and joy. This one is just truly beautiful. Really shows the poet's spirit while also showing beautiful illustrations. And last but not least, I feel like I'd be remiss not to talk about The Next President right now. This is by Kate Messner and Adam Rex. Just a stunning book on all accounts. Perfect for every classroom and library. It's inspiring and informative and really shows the varying different lives of former presidents and how that future is wide open for kids. And, you know, anybody could be president. I think you said, just really, booklet says it's an ingenious exploration of presence that will encourage children to consider their own futures. Yeah, so that's everything from us. Hoping you can take a screenshot here, but also feel free to email me and Andy at any time. Check us out on social media. We're happy to give you guys whatever you need. Next, we're going to throw it over to friends at Bloomsbury, Beth and Jasmine.
Hi everybody, just give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. And there we are. We're going to start off with picture books.
This is Beth. I'm so glad we could be here today. I love this time of year where we get to count all our stars and gives us so much to look back on and just remember how good some of the books we published this year really are. So I'm delighted to be able to start off with picture books, Away with Wild Things by Larissa Thule and Sarah Polakos. Sarah is a former winner of the Pure Belle Prey Award. And in this one, they really celebrate children who are introverted. Poppy's kind of shy. She's much more comfortable with nature, the flowers, the bugs, and she loves to go out and sort of observe nature and see what's happening around her. She's not so comfortable at large parties. She tries to sort of blend into the background. Well, at her grandmother's birthday party, a butterfly just lands near her and everybody stops and realize Poppy is suddenly the center of attention, and she's not really comfortable about that. There she is. Suddenly everybody is going to notice Poppy, and her grandmother sort of encourages her, and she really develops her confidence and explains sort of nature to the people around her, celebrating sort of her quiet sort of skills of observation. It really celebrates the introverts, and Poppy, she's not a wallflower, she's a wildflower. Next one is I Got the School Spirit. This is from Connie and Frank Morrison. They are the authors of I Got the Rhythm and I Got the Christmas Spirit. I think Kirk has described this better than anyone could. If a school pep rally could walk, this kid would be it. It's the same character from the other two books, and she is just joyous, and you can see whether learning is remote or you're in the school, the happiness and joy of being in the school. I'm sure there are kids who would so like to come back to this very soon, but really it's just inspiring, and it's a pep rally come to life. This one is from an author and illustrator who doesn't really need neither need any introduction. It's Nikki Grimes and Wendell Minor. And in this one, Nikki tells the story of a young boy in verse, her beautiful verse, a young boy who's leaving the city and moving to the Southwest. And it's a totally different environment. And he's not comfortable. It's so different. He doesn't feel comfortable there. And it's really his journey through this nature and where he really discovers and comes to appreciate what the Southwest has to offer. It's a book where we see a character of color in nature and in a non-urban setting, and that's not that common. And the text is amazing and the art is as well. And now I'll turn middle grade over to Jasmine.
Hi. So the first book we're going to be talking about is Chirp by Kate Messner. This is a powerful and timely middle grade novel that introduces Me Too for the younger generation. So it's about 12-year-old Mia over the summer of her 7th grade. She is moving to Vermont to spend time on her grandmother's cricket farm. So Graham is convinced that someone is trying to destroy her farm, so she and her friends set out to investigate, and they're hoping to uncover the truth before she loses it completely. And after that, she hopes that discovery will empower her to speak up about the secret that she's been hiding and find the courage that she didn't know she had. Chirp has earned multiple star reviews. We have 2 on the screen here. Kirkus describes it perfectly. It's rich, it's timely, and it's beautifully written. It's been praised for its skillful exploration of a very tough topic in a very age-appropriate way. Next, we have The Queen Bee and Me. This is a heartfelt story about the highs and lows of middle school friendship, and it's by the acclaimed author of Caterpillar Summer. She has another book coming out with us in the spring called These Unlucky Stars, so be on the lookout for that. This book is so good at exploring what exactly it is about middle school that is awkward, uncomfortable, but it really is the time when you really discover who you are and who you want to be friends with and who are the people you surround yourself with. So Meg has always been in her best friend's shadow, but then she sort of becomes to go out of her shell, and she realizes that her best friend Beatrix is a little bit mean. So she has to discover what she wants to do and who she wants to be friends with. The next book we have is The Space Between Lost and Found. This is by the author of Extraordinary Birds. It's a powerful story about family, friendship, and how light can be found even in the darkest of places. Cassie is the main character of the story. She realizes that her mother has Alzheimer's, and she really struggles to deal with how her mom slowly deteriorates, and eventually she forgets her name. So she sets out on an adventure with her mom to have one last great day together and swim with the dolphins. It's a really harrowing and beautiful story. And next we have from our last book in middle grade, Ways to Make Sunshine. This book got 4-star reviews. It is so adorable and perfectly, it's a perfect package of great illustrations and great prose. This is the first in a series featuring Ryan Hart, who is a girl who is pure sunshine. Ryan has a lot on her mind between school, her self-image, and family. Her father has a new job, but money is tight, and she suddenly can't get the brand of ice cream that she's wanted. She can't, her house is much older than she thought it would be. But Ryan has a great way of like taking these setbacks and rolling with them in a way that's very inspiring. Readers will love this. It's a take on Ramona Quimby featuring a Black child. It's a must read. And next we're moving on to young adult. So the first book we're going to talk about is Cinderella is Dead. This is a debut from Kaylin Barron. It is so good. It's set 200 years after Cinderella is dead, and the kingdom has teen girls go to the annual ball where men get to select their wives from the group of women. But Sophia does not want to marry a prince. She wants to marry her best friend named Erin. So she and a group of other girls set out to just take over the kingdom. And this is a retelling that really turns the Cinderella story on its head. It's perfect for fans of A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Next, we have The Gravity of Us. This is the acclaimed debut from Phil Stamper. It tells the story of Cal and Leon, who are two teens who fall in love when their parents have to move to Houston to work on a NASA trip to Mars. It's perfect for fans of Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, and as Booklist calls it, it's a sweet romance that really captures the hearts and imaginations. Next, we have Never Look Back. This is a beautiful lyrical retelling of Orpheus and Eurydice. It touches on themes of identity, trauma, and first love. Orpheus is a bachata singer from the Bronx, and he uses his talent for music to have a good time and woo girls. But Yuri is a girl from Puerto Rico who's dealing with the trauma of Hurricane Maria and being haunted by a spirit named Ato. It's a star review. SLJ praised the book's blending of Caribbean and Greek myths and its exploration of realistic aspects of identity, stereotypes, trauma, and romance. And next we have Accidental. Accidental is an emotionally resonant story about a girl dealing with the aftermath of a tragic shooting. So Joanna's life is turned upside down when her absentee father reveals that her mother didn't die in a car accident. She was actually shot by her when she was 2 years old with an unsecured gun. So Joanna has to deal with the traumatic nature of finding this out and sorting through this revelation as she struggles to forgive herself and her family. Accidental earned 2-star reviews from Kirkus and School Library Journal, who praised Alex Richards for her balanced and valuable take on this tough topic. And last from middle grade, we got Being Toffee. Being Toffee is a wonderful book. It's written in verse by Sarah Crossan, and it explores themes of trauma, identity, and found family. So Allison has run away from home, and she ends up living in a shed in a house that she thought was abandoned, but it's actually a home from Marla, who is an older woman who has dementia. Marla mistakes Allison for her old friend Toffee, and Allison sort of takes on Toffee's identity in order to have a place to stay. This book is beautiful, it's sad, and it's very poignant in pointing out themes of identity and found family. So it earned 2-star reviews from Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. And next, I'll turn it over to Beth for nonfiction.
Beth took over the nonfiction section because this is my favorite part of the list. I think we had some extraordinary nonfiction titles this year. First up would be A Voice Named Aretha by the award-winning duo of Catherine Russell Brown and Laura Friedman. This is really a phenomenal introduction to the Queen of Soul. It really isn't just about her music or what she did. It really shows you how she fought for respect through every inch of her career. And in the next slide, which you can see the color palette, one of the interesting things that the illustrator did is she used, and this was noted in a lot of the reviews, she used golds and purple because they were really the color of royalty. And she really, in the art and in the text, we really celebrate the Queen of Soul, and you will be singing along whether you want to or not. Next, for something quite different, Who Gives a Poop by Heather Montgomery. And it's illustrated, it's off the slide, but it's by Lisa Iris Gottlieb. Sorry, got cut off the slide there. Heather Montgomery's first book about roadkill, we really met Heather and got to see her curiosity and her humor. And she's back with this again in Who Gives a Poop. It really is a way to teach science in the way that it should be taught, where one person's curiosity and question leads to another question. It's Heather, the book opens, she sees coyote poop and she looks at it and it's so different than her dog poop. So that sets her off into what can we tell about poop? What can we learn about the world around us from poop? So you go with Heather from hospitals to landfills, to science lab, to the forest, as she looks at all kinds of poop and sees really how it helps us, what we can get out of repurposing it and using it in all sorts of scientific ways. But yet this book continues to have Heather's humor in it. There is a lot of poop puns, which, all kids will love. So this is a book that you truly can laugh and learn. And I think Heather's approach in this sort of narrative nonfiction with a lot of humor and a lot of very accessible language is really a phenomenal way to approach nonfiction. Jasmine, could you? And next up is The Lemon Tree. This is a book by Sandy Tolan. He wrote an adult book with this title. This is an adaptation. That was a New York Times bestseller. And he's now taken that book and made it accessible for teens. I have to admit, I did not read the New York Times book, but I read this and I think I learned more about the Middle East than I learned from any other book I've ever read. This starts off with Bashir. He's in 1967, he's from Palestine. He goes back to Israel to visit the family house that his family was forced to leave about 19 years ago. And it's opened by a young woman, the door is opened by a young woman named Dahlia. She's, I think, a freshman in college. Well, she actually greets him and talks to him and they begin a dialogue and they end up forming a friendship that lasted at least 20 years. And through their eyes and through their struggle to remain friends throughout the differences and throughout all the things that happened in the Middle East, you get an incredibly balanced view of the situation there. It's very hopeful. It makes you really come away with hope that maybe this resolution doesn't need to be violent. Maybe it's people just getting to know each other. It's an absolutely inspiring, thoroughly researched book that I would recommend to everyone, adult and or teen. Poison Water is another nonfiction entry. This is about the water crisis that happened in Flint, Michigan about 5 or 6 years ago. This is the first YA book that really takes a close look at that. Candy J. Cooper is a Pulitzer Prize nominated journalist, and she really spent a lot of time in Flint doing firsthand reporting, and Mark Aronson probably doesn't need a lot of introduction to this crowd. He's an award-winning, YA, teen, middle grade nonfiction expert. This book is one of the most hopeful books you could read, and at the same time, it's infuriating. There were so many moments that the government of Flint could have stepped in, rectified the situation, and time and again, they just didn't. And most of the people who were impacted by the water situation were people of color, were Black. And so it impacted those neighborhoods the most. And the part where it's inspiring, and this is what Candy really focuses on, are the people, the citizens who fought back. They didn't give up. There's one high school student that she interviewed. There was only one high school in this area of Detroit. And he really engaged and sort of fought back and became such an activist. And I think he's now in Cornell. But so it's very hopeful in that you see that the citizens did make a difference. They didn't give up and they got the situation somewhat rectified. It's a riveting read, but you will be annoyed at the government a good number of times. And this is The Cat I Never Named. This is a debut. This is by Amra Sabi Elriz. It's her memoir. It's a story of love, war, and survival. She was living in Bosnia. She was a teenager, and it was during the Bosnian genocide. And you get her account of absolutely what happened and how horrible it was. She was an excellent student. She had all sorts of scholarships. She excelled. She was able to leave the country to come to the US. It's her story. It's what happened when she was here. I've heard her talk about her experiences multiple times at this point, and I will admit that every time she tells her story about reaching the American border and handing over her passport, I do tear up. And the cat in the book, the cat who never had a name, the cat sort of just, in some of the lowest, darkest moments of the war, this cat sort of discovered this family. And they never really adopted the cat because her mother in particular was like, we can't have a cat, we can't feed a cat, we don't have a cat, we can't have a pet. But the cat kept showing up at optimum times. Like her brother went to chase the cat and it took him out of an area where a bomb exploded. So it was almost as if the cat had saved him. So the cat really is this sort of symbol of hope throughout the entire book. But the story is absolutely inspiring. Amra is an absolutely inspirational person herself. She's now a professor at Columbia and does, really talks about how what she went through in Bosnia really is similar to what we're going through here today. I recommend this book, like Poison Water, for not just teens, but for adults. It's an extraordinary story. It's an extraordinary nonfiction. And that's it for all of us. Thank you so much for listening. Here's my contact information. And I'm going to let Caitlin of Workman step in because Caitlin has all sorts of information about how you could download and get more information.
Yes, so in our newsletters that you're reading this from, you will have a link and you can download our handouts, which has all of the great information that you heard about here today. So if you missed a title, don't worry, we've got you covered, and be sure to keep an eye out for our next buzz, and we're excited to continue giving you the latest and greatest from all of our companies.
Bye.